I'd like to speak with you about doubt, and maybe a little bit in the line of the first talk of this morning, but it will get a more political turn. I will speak about fundamental doubt, the short moment, the split moment that you think something was important, self-evident for me, and it is not anymore. And I ask you to come with me back in time, April 1993, to the city of Geneva. I was there for research, and I went to what would be the WTO, the World Trade Organization, you know the name. But it was specifically more organized in what would come in this organization, a treaty called TRIPS, Trade-Related Intellectual Properties. Intellectual properties are copyrights, patents, breeder rights, etc. And it would come a treaty about this. So I had several interviews with civil servants at that organization. And in one of the interviews, I mentioned that in the months before in India, there were big uprisings from farmers against these TRIPS. Because they said, this treaty, intellectual properties, rights, will privatize our seeds. We handed our seeds from generation to generation. And now it might be possible that a company comes along, for instance, Monsanto, who says, now it belongs to me. And you know, this company controls also the distribution of seeds. And then I still remember the answer of this civil servant. He said, this is a misunderstanding of those farmers. Of course, they may keep the seeds. But when Monsanto improves it, of course, it belongs to Monsanto. And then there came that split moment of awareness. After the interview, I looked over Lac Léman, the lake near Geneva, looking to the mountains, and I thought, how cynical. That what we built up for generation after generation, that at one moment it can be monopolized and privatized. So that was the start of my doubt about intellectual property rights. Because what is happening with it, it is a privatization of our knowledge. And of course, many times the argument will be used, we need those intellectual property rights, otherwise we don't get innovations. But on the other side, if you give a monopoly right for a supposed market value, at the other side you will get another market value that at the same moment you give a monopoly, property right, nobody else may use this knowledge anymore to continue to develop, etc. And that's quite stupid for our societies. In the meantime, the system of intellectual property rights exists for long, but the last 30 years it became broader, extensive, etc. But then there's another argument, and that is, for every product we buy, we have to pay for the intellectual property rights. An American scholar, the American economist Joseph Stiglitz said, you may compare it to a tax. You have to pay it. And the saying is, no taxation without representation. What's the consequence of this? If we have to pay for it, why we don't have a say in what kind of things will be developed, what kind of research will be done? Why should it be the companies who decide for us what is good for us? And I don't like to say that everybody companies are developing is not good, but there's no say of us. We don't have any say about it. And that's not democratic. So I started to change my doubt in the idea we should abolish the system of copyright. And at the same time, my responsibility was to think, how can we finance new inventions? At the same time, you abolish the system of copyrights, products will become cheaper, certainly in pharmaceuticals, substantially cheaper. If you take away this price, this enormous price on the products will become cheaper, and a part of that gain can be put in public funds, and these public funds can make tenders for research, for university departments, other institutes, and the result of this will be free, available for all us. That means that we as society, enterprises, citizens, NGOs, etc., have a say about what kind of things we like to have developed. I don't have the time to give contradictions in this. Obviously, I'm not naive. What I propose is an enormous change, an enormous transition. And many of us will be afraid for it. Huh? Afraid what will happen. What will happen? But then, I say, there should be made a lot of research about my proposal to abolish copyright. It is in the air. That it is a shame, and I repeat, it is a shame that our university departments in law, economics, here in the technical universities, agricultural universities, don't do research about this paradigm shift. The paradigm shift is in the air, but you don't do anything. That is a shame. What I propose to you is, don't be afraid for your doubts. Thank you very much.